Hello, I'm Richard Hooper and this is SatTV Week. Now I'm pleased to be joined by Jacques Breton of Arianespace. Jacques, thanks for joining us. Arianespace is all about heritage and reputation. How important is that in the marketplace today?
Well, this is very important because our reputation first is based on our reliability. You know that we are operating a family of launch vehicles from French Guiana with Vega, Soyuz and Ariane 5. Ariane 5 is our workhorse with which we launch the telecommunication satellites, and we haven't had any failure with Ariane 5 since 2002, which means nearly 14 years without any failure, 71 launches in a row, all successful. So first, this reputation comes with the reliability and also the quality of our services. And this is very important for a customer because, of course, we'll talk later on of price, I'm sure, but what is the most important for a customer is to have his satellite safely into orbit. And with Arianespace, he knows that his spacecraft will get there perfectly.
Now, up until now, you haven't had any real true competition. SpaceX are now starting to creep into this. How is Arianespace going to address that?
First, I would not totally agree with you. Throughout the years we have seen competition and we have been very accustomed to competition. I must confess that I started some long time ago with Arianespace. At that time the Space Shuttle was our competitor, heavily subsidized by the US government, so it was very difficult. Then it's clear that we had a period of time when we were alone, but we saw the Russians coming and we were told, you are dead, the Russians are coming, and you know the rubber. We stayed there. Then the Chinese came and we compete. Then the Proton was back and was our main competitor. We had also Atlas Data. So we are accustomed to competition, and competition has been fierce in the past. Today we have a new competitor, it's true, with SpaceX. SpaceX has some advantages, I would say. He has access to a huge US governmental market that allows him to make very aggressive prices on the commercial market. I would say more aggressive than when he sells to the US government. And of course we have to face this competition with our assets. And once again, our assets are quality of service, reliability, availability, launch on time. And of course, we have to adapt ourselves to this new competition on prices.
There you are, you mentioned prices. I'm going to have to lead in with this. Pricing's all important now. We're in an economic phase of the world where pricing is important in all sectors of the value chain. Again, it's important when it comes to launching. Arianespace competing on price, is this to do with the evolution of new launchers or?
Yes. First, we have first, when we talk about price, we have to get an overall picture. Price means the launch service price. It means also the insurance, and then there you see that the reliability of Ariane 5 is very important because it reduces the premium you have to pay for insurance. But you are right, we had to adapt ourselves. We adapt ourselves with Ariane 5. And even with SpaceX being successful on the market, we have maintained our market share of 50%. We signed last year 14 contracts on the GTO market. You know that this market is about 20 to 25 satellites per year, so we are very successful. But we know that the competition we get even more fierce in the coming years. That's why we have also decided to develop a new launch vehicle, Ariane 6, and also to modify the governance of the space sector in Europe.
The market is changing though slightly. We've now got the advent of the smaller satellite.
Yes.
How is Arianespace adapting to this new sector?
First, as I said, we are operating a family of launch vehicles. Therefore, we already provide a means to launch small satellites, even very small satellites, as a piggyback or secondary passenger on a main mission, for instance, with the Vega. For instance, this year we are launching PeruSat, an Earth observation satellite for Peru. And together with this satellite, we are launching 4 SkySat satellites for Terra Bella of Google. So this shows that we are already able to carry in a shared launch as a secondary mission with small satellites. Nevertheless, we are looking with interest to this market of very small satellites, CubeSat and so on. We are also looking for dedicated launch vehicles, and there are a certain number of new developments taking place right now to see if there is a real market. If there is a real market for these very small satellites, we usually have not a lot of money to pay for a launch, and we will see. But right now, we can launch them as a secondary payload or on a shared launch with Vega.
Now, as we move forward and Arianespace develop and evolve, where do you see the future of the launch sector in the next 12 to 24 months, particularly for Arianespace?
I think that what is most important is to be able to address any segment of the market. We see that you are right, this market evolve or may evolve rapidly, sometimes more rapidly than, of course, the development of a launch vehicle. So what is very important is to have a launch vehicle or a family of launch vehicle able to address any kind of market. Right now that's the case because we have a launch vehicle family, Vega, Soyuz, Ariane. With the new development of Ariane 6, we will have a modular launch vehicle in two versions, Ariane 62, Ariane 64, a medium launch vehicle or a heavy lift. And we will have also an evolution of the Vega, with the Vega C. And with these two launch vehicles, Ariane 6 being modular, we will be able to address any kind of mission to any kind of orbit. And therefore, we'll be able to adapt ourselves to the next market needs.